At WIRK doing the morning show.
I was working at Metro Networks in Miami.
I was actually at the hair salon getting my hair cut.
I was actually working out at Gold's Gym when I saw the first plane strike the World Trade Center.
I was in New York City on 9/11 and in a hotel after being out the night before on the 91st floor in the first tower with a friend who was showing off her office to me.
I happened to be home that day. And I can remember my husband at the time was an American Airlines captain. And he called me and he said, you need to come back in. We had the Today Show on. And traditionally, Matt Lauer would leave at 9 o'clock. And I guess it was around 9:30. He said, Matt's back on. Something big must be happening.
We had just finished our shift in the morning. It was 9 o'clock, had reported traffic. And I looked up at all the monitors in the producer's ring, and they had the World Trade Center smoking on fire.
We had an AP machine at the time, and an alert goes off, and you grab it and grab the news story, and it says a small plane has hit one of the towers of the World Trade Center. And you're thinking, wow, this might be bad. And you go in and you look at the TV coverage to see exactly what it is. And as soon as everybody saw it, you knew it was a lot worse.
The lady cutting my hair, she stopped to answer the phone, and she was chatting with someone briefly. You could tell she was a little concerned. And then she hung up the phone, came back to me, and she said, my friend just told me that a plane crashed into one of the towers in New York City.
At 10:15, I got a phone call, woke up out of a sound sleep, say, you're watching TV, are you okay? And I said, what are you talking about? And my friend said, turn on the TV. And I turned it on and just saw the second plane crashing into the towers. And the first thing that went through my mind is my friend is on the 91st floor.
As a New Yorker, I was devastated because I knew within minutes that this was not just an accident. I know what the airspace rules are in New York, and you don't just fly an airplane accidentally into a big building.
I immediately rushed into work and didn't even say hello to anyone, went straight to my workstation, which was empty, and started writing and started reporting on the air.
I frantically called her and didn't get an answer. And for the next hour and a half, my heart literally dropped to the ground because I thought she was one of the victims in there. In fact, because I kept her out so late the night before, she overslept. Her entire office was wiped away and her coworkers gone.
My husband flew the flight from Boston to Los Angeles. Exactly 24 hours before the crash, he was on the exact same plane, the exact same route. Had it been 24 hours later, he would have been the guy flying into the World Trade Center.
15 hours on the air, not only just reporting the news, but really talking people through the tragedy that was that day. And as horrific as it was, I was so grateful to have the opportunity to actually talk it out myself.
I had an interview scheduled with someone who was working in the building for that day on the air. And the first thing I thought about was what happened to Chuck. And he did not make it out of the building that day.
You know, one of the things that people don't realize, when you watch this footage and when you saw it originally, the TV's like this big, or maybe you have a huge TV, but being there and actually seeing the building on top of itself is not a movie, it's not a TV show, it's real. And unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because I can't get it out of my head forever, I saw that.
It was the first time, I think, unfortunately, a horrific situation made it a common cause for everybody. You actually had something to talk to somebody that you've never met about. People that you didn't even know. Strangers came up to you and said, can you believe this actually happened?
There's nothing like a tragedy to bring people together from all walks of life. So it was nice to see my city enveloped in love and the kind of expressions, outpourings that we heard from around the country.
I can remember the school called and said, you need to come pick up your kids. And just showing up at the school, parents that have never even talked to each other, hugging each other, kids hugging each other, parents trying to assure their children, America is still a safe country. This is the safest country in the world. But try to explain that to an 8-year-old kid who just saw the World Trade Center crumble in front of them. It was heart-wrenching.
There were American flags being flown outside of cars, people with American flag pins on. It was just a total feeling of unity and of country, and that we were not going to stand for this type of an attack.
On September 11th, 2002, we did a broadcast from the same site, from Ground Zero, and it was still just a hole in the ground. And what struck me most was there were people walking around and had been doing this for a year with pictures of their loved ones. They were still looking for them, looking for any help they could possibly get.
What always amazes me about the United States, the American people, is the perseverance. We're like, you know, go ahead, kick us. Kick us while we're down, kick sand in our face. Damn it, we're coming back, and we're going to come back bigger and better. Try to stop us. That's exactly what we did.